You're not going to believe this. There are 2 pivotal lawsuits pitting home sellers against the National Association of Realtors and 4 major brokerage firms. On top of that, you've got the DOJ. They're also going after the National Association of Realtors. You're going to want to stick around for this one. So, if house prices weren't high enough, insurance wasn't ridiculous enough. Oh, and mortgage rates, they're off the charts. Now, there's a possibility that home buyers may have to pay real estate commissions. I kid you not. Hey, let me get closer. You're not going to believe this. So, in 2020, the Department of Justice had its tentacles into investigating the National Association of Realtors, claiming that our commission structures somehow violated some antitrust law. And since the Department of Justice was going to test the waters, well, of course, you know how attorneys are, they saw an opportunity as well. Why not? Can of worms had already been opened. And with that being said, 2 more class action lawsuits were born. So these suits alleged that NAR had engaged in non-competitive practices, violated consumer protection laws, and failed to adequately regulate the real estate industry. The outcome of such a lawsuit could have significant implications for the real estate industry and the public at large. Total damages of a lawsuit like this could exceed $13 billion with a B. That's a mind-boggling sum.
The lawsuit can potentially represent home sellers who paid commissions between March 2015 and December 2020 in 15 different states.
The lawsuit basically claims that by making a unilateral requirement for sellers to pay commission to a buyer's agent somehow violates the law. Apparently, the law is the Sherman Antitrust Act. That's a big stretch, but hey, it's 2023. We know about lawsuits and big stretches these days. Just ask Donald Trump.
The lawsuit is against the National Association of Realtors and 4 of the largest national brokerage franchises.
So if you don't know how real estate commissions work, currently, for decades, you list your house and the seller pays the commission. You negotiate the commission. It's normally between 5 and 6%. And the agreement says that you will offer up typically 50% of it to a buyer's agent. Obviously, the seller wants realtors to bring their buyers. So, in order to entice a realtor to bring their buyers, they offer them compensation. But in these class action lawsuits, somehow they think that's breaking the law now. Been doing it for decades. It's a very good payment structure. And by offering the compensation, you're enticing realtors to bring in their buyers. I mean, why else would they bring their buyers to see your house unless they were going to get compensated for it? Realtors don't earn a salary. They don't earn anything until they actually sell a house and the house closes. They're independent contractors. This is how we make our living. Now, this lawsuit is challenging. That's not how it should be done. And they want to force the buyer to pay the realtor. Think about first-time home buyers. It's not expensive enough to buy a house, to put a down payment down, plus your closing costs. Now you're going to ask a buyer to fork over real estate commissions. And Mr. Seller's not saving any money because if he's going to go buy another house, he's going to have to fork over real estate commission to a buyer's agent. So it's not saving anybody any money. It's just putting an undue hardship on the buyer.
Like everything in 2023, here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah. Back in 2020, the Department of Justice, when they originally started doing their investigation on real estate commissions, they settled. They settled with the National Association of Realtors. The agreement basically said the National Association of Realtors, we would make our commissions more transparent, put them online so everybody could see them, so there was nothing hidden. And realtors would stop telling their buyers they work for free. I don't know of any realtor that actually does that, but that was part of the agreement, that you had to tell your buyer that the seller was paying the commission, not that you work for free. That was part of the deal. And the National Association of Realtors started implementing these things. They put it into our code of ethics. If you looked on Zillow, it would tell you now what the commission was to the buyer's agent so everybody can see it. There's nothing hidden. But apparently, that's not good enough anymore. The settlement letter from November 2020 from the Department of Justice states that the division had closed its prior investigation, and the letter said nothing about future investigations. However, the Department of Justice, under the new Biden administration, because the previous settlement was done under the Trump administration, has decided to withdraw from the settlement.
So, in June of 2023, the Department of Justice states that resuming the investigation into these rules was warranted and necessary in light of evidence of the continuing threat of anti-competitive effects of NAR's rules, policies, and practices on the residential real estate industry.
NAR held up their end of the deal. We implemented everything they wanted in that letter, and you would expect the Department of Justice to do the same. So basically, NAR insists that the agreement made would prevent future investigation into our commission policies. But the Department of Justice, they've changed their mind. So the National Association of Realtors say they will continue arguing these class action lawsuits, which are separate from the Department of Justice lawsuits. But as I mentioned before, once the Department of Justice decided to go after NAR, there was blood in the water. And that's how these class action lawsuits were born. Now here's where it does get interesting. As the date of this recording, I don't have the results of those lawsuits, but apparently there has been a settlement reached.
Yes, Anywhere Real Estate, formerly known as Realogy Holding Corporation, agreed to settle all claims against the company in the two cases. Details of the settlement need court approval before being released.
And whatever that settlement is going to really set the trajectory of how commissions will be paid in the real estate industry. They very well may start making buyers pay real estate commissions. Now I'll give you something to chew on here. You will own nothing and be happy. You think? Maybe. A little bit harder for younger people to buy homes. Are we entering into a new phase of life where everybody rents because they can't afford to buy a house? Where property rights slowly go away? Comments. Whether you agree with the commission structure or not, do you think it's fair to make buyers pay the real estate commission? If you were going to go buy a house, would you like to pay another 3% of the cost of that house? Even if it's 2.5%? Even if it was 2%? We're talking a lot of money. So your down payment might be, let's say if you're doing a minimal down payment, 3.5% on FHA, you're gonna have at least another 3.5% closing costs, more than likely 4%. And then now you're gonna pay another 2.5% on top of that. It's a lot of money. And most young people cannot afford to do it. I'm gonna stop making these videos in my backyard. There's too much damn noise. Another reason, I'm gonna move to the woods. Make sure to subscribe, because you never know what I'm gonna post next. Gloves are off.